Welcome to the Lucky Titan Podcast. Here you will learn how to fill your favorite platform with tons of your dream customers from some of the world's top entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Josh Tapp. Now let's get started. What is up, everybody? Josh Tapp here again, and welcome back to the Lucky Titan Podcast. And today we're here with JJ, which if you haven't heard of his videos or seen his videos on YouTube, I'd be really surprised. This guy has 50 million views on his YouTube videos. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to attracting attention and really turning that attention into sales, which in my opinion is the more valuable skill. Because most people are like, I want to get 1 million followers, and JJ's all about saying, let's get attention, let's turn it into money. So JJ, say what's up to everybody, and then we'll hop in, man.
What's up, Josh? What's up, everybody? Let's bring some Australian energy to this podcast today, man. I'm right here living high in the sky, right here in K-Town here in LA. And like today, Josh, I'm really excited because not only I want to give your guests some enthusiasm, some energy, some excitement, but I want to leave them like with tangible stuff. I was saying to you before we started, that whole seminar high, you go to this 3-day seminar, Friday's awesome, Saturday's pumping, Sundays, oh my gosh, Tuesday, you're like, I'm back to normal. I'm back to square one, right?
I haven't even taken a step yet.
Dude, I get it. And I really want to make sure that we can actually give you something that I'm using day in and day out, that's tried and tested, that I've got results in, I've got my clients' results in, it's not going to take you 6 months to implement or $6 million to start. So it's like, what can I give your people today that they can actually get wins? I call them wins from today.
See, and that's what we are all about here on the show, JJ. So I'm excited to delve into that. And the very first question I have for you, because I would like to get into kind of the tactical stuff as well. Sure. But my big first question is, how do you go from being influencer to an actual entrepreneur or business owner?
Listen, I think the first thing is you got to commit. Let's go back to square one. I just decided that I have to win at life, and I have to be able to leverage this attention to my brand. And I was a magician, right? Backstory was, 16 years ago, I'm 32 now, 16 years ago, I wanted to tell the world who I was, what I do, and I wanted to travel around the world and do it, and so far I've been to 32 countries. I've spoken on the biggest stages in the world, and that's not to toot my own horn. It's just the life I wanted to live, right? And then I built a 50 million view YouTube channel, got a lot of attention, but for a long time I was broke, not just broke financially, just mentally, what's not working? I've got all these eyeballs, and like, why do I still constantly have to think about whether I can afford a coffee today, or can I go to that dinner tonight? And, I was really doing it by myself for so long until I, got someone and got advice from people like, these kind of podcasts and have a coach in my corner. Then I really could understand how to leverage their attention and use that to generate revenue and money,
Yeah. And I love that, because the real problem that we've seen, we've been in the marketing space for, I think, 5 years now. I can't quite remember, around 5 years. And a lot of people come to us and they've got a following of people, and they've never once tried to sell them anything. And it's a really difficult thing to take people from where you've been giving them free stuff forever to all of a sudden saying, hey, now pay me for this. And unfortunately, in today's world, people are just trying to do that through kind of the non-sneaky ways where they're like, oh, I'm going to do a Patreon, or I'll do here's my swag, or what have you. But there's higher forms of monetizing, I think. And that's one of the things that we're going to be delving into in this interview. So for somebody who's been an influencer, they've already kind of got that traction. Let's just say they're at maybe 10,000 to 100,000 people following them. What are their next steps to monetizing their business?
Yeah, we'll start telling people what you do and how you can help them. That's the first step. You know what I mean, Josh? And you nailed it on the head, properly. I think people have to allow themselves to let go and get out of that, I don't want to sell anybody. But let me flip it, right? And I want to be honest with everybody today. Like, I'm going to come across strong, right? Because sometimes we need a bit of a wake up. Hey, wake up. Get out of those are limiting beliefs. Those are blocks that you're telling yourself that no one wants to buy from me, or I don't want to sell. Why not? Why wouldn't you, Josh? Like, you should be proud of who you are. You should be proud of what you have to people. If you're passionate about what you do, you should be telling the world. So the way to do that, when you've got these people, is you can do it in an authentic way. That's what's great about doing stories on Instagram. That's what's great about creating content. Hey guys, this is what I do. This is what I've got going on. If there's anyone's interested, shoot me a quick DM and let's have a conversation. Like, that's not harsh. That's not like sneaky. That's not like, that salesy kind of vibe. It's just you're putting it out there. And I think so many people, Josh, want to have the perfect way of asking for the sale where you haven't even done it. Like maybe just ask someone, hey, I do this. Does anyone need help? Let me know. How easy is that?
Yeah, and I love that methodology because I think that's I think people overthink it, right? I mean, when we started for our
Right.
first audience, it was like, hey, you know what? We're starting this group. Come join the group, and we ended up having 20,000 people move over the course of 6 months, and it was like all I had to do was ask, and there wasn't even a paid thing. But then we took that and said, hey, this is what we do, and we said it to our
Right.
group. This is what we sell, and they started buying from us. And I
Right.
think you kind of have to condition people to realize, like, hey, I'm here to sell to you, but you're not going to come across from day one saying, that's the only thing I do. You say, I'll provide you real value, but in exchange, I do ask for some money on the back end.
Yeah, and it's like all that old school thing of like when you're younger, like don't talk to strangers thing. Like why doesn't everyone want to talk to anyone anymore? Because we get told from a young age, don't talk to anyone. My dad was like, you better go and talk to that person. It's like I talk a lot about speaking. Like if you can speak, you can effectively communicate, you can sell. If you can learn how to persuade people in a cool way, a collective way, a confident way, you can give them something and they can feel great about it and they will give you money in return. It's just, I think sometimes, Josh, we're not skilled up. We talk about, you were talking about sales before this. Like, I think people just need to be skilled up. It's another skill. Like riding a bike is a skill. Like learning ClickFunnels is a skill, right? Doing Instagram content is a skill. Learning how to speak and sell is a skill. So
Yeah, I completely agree. And the funny thing, I feel like a lot of people just assume that getting followers is going to equate money. And I think that kind of comes from the early days of YouTube when they used to pay you for views, right? But that's how they built their platform, was to do that, right? Were you even around during that
yeah, man,
time when
I
they
was I
were?
was I was OG. I was 2009. You know, oh, dude, back in the day, it was like me. It wasn't just me, but it was like me. It was like a bunch of people, but everyone had their own industry. Like I was the magic guy, so I was teaching magic
Right.
tricks online. And it's the YouTube channel's still there, 500 videos, seen in 190, 170 countries, with 50 million views, right? So back in the day, it was like used to get paid per view, right? So if you were doing like long tailed content, dude, you were buying houses. You weren't buying gold watches. You're buying houses.
And I think that's, people just kind of assume that's still how it works. Oh yeah, if people view your video, and that was their monster, that was their strategy of getting
Right.
eyeballs so they could sell ads, right? And nowadays, I mean, you're barely paid anything even for sponsorships. So I do want to ask you this, like for somebody who is already, they already have a following on one platform or another. We kind of talk about the big five with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
those ones, right? What do you feel like is the fastest monetization strategy for a lot of these people?
I don't think they should be looking at it like that. I don't like.
Good answer.
Yeah. I don't. We deal with this all the time. We got clients that come to us and want us to blow up their brand, and part of their strategy is, we had a client yesterday that wants to start his own like children's TV show, or like for his kids. He's like, great, well, tell me my number one thing. He goes, I want to know how much money I'm going to make off monetization. I said, well, looking at this the wrong way. Like you should be thinking about, how can I get eyeballs and leverage that to a brand or a product, or creating some kind of piece of content online, that's paid for. So yeah, it's just challenging now, Josh. The way they're constantly changing things to make brands more happier, because brands and companies are paying the bills. So brands, it used to be per watch, per view. Then it used to be per hour, like minute spent. Then it used to be how much engagement time. Then it used to be how much engagement time and activity that you're watching for. Then it was engagement, activity, how long they're watching your videos for, how long are they watching your competitors' videos for. Like for creators, it was very challenging, because they were constantly creating things, and then every single day, no, we're stripping 30% away, and now you don't have that anymore. So back to your question, I think the better way to look at it is, what platform can you maximize to get the most attention from? And because we're talking with entrepreneurs and coaches and agency owners, a lot of you guys listening, in my opinion, right? And I'm biased because I work on Instagram every day. It's what I make, how I make my living. I think Instagram is a really good platform just because you've got that kind of like, I just think there's a lot of great things with Instagram, some great features, some great then, and it's not as messy as LinkedIn, and it's got that personal brand touch as well. Because entrepreneurs, it's a personal brand a little bit, you know. And even if you do have a company, we help a lot of companies get big on Instagram. So I think Instagram is the where you got to play it.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I really think what it comes down to, and I love that you dispute the answer that way because, or the question that way. It's really interesting because so many people are looking at it like, okay, I've just got to get followers. I've just got to get people paying me. But what you're talking about is saying, hey, leverage these things to just keep the eyeballs of the people who already are following you or should already be following you. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
well, if you know, do the people like let's re-ask the question. Are the people already have the numbers watching them? Like, how do you extract money from your list, or how do you extract money from the platform?
Right. And I think it would be from your
Okay, so
list.
from your list. Okay, well then that's probably a different way. I would definitely find I definitely want to do some kind of questionnaire when you know who's like a lot of people have these big lists, but they don't know who's involved, you know? And insights can only give you a certain amount. Like I'd start by asking questions. I'd start by finding out, hey, is this of interest to some people? Like putting that message out there, you know, assuming that you guys are known for something, you're an expert in something, or that people come to you for that problem, to be solved, right? Yeah, I think I would go ask the questions, like find out who's on your list, what do they want, right? And how can you create things for them, or start putting stuff out that you like as well. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, and so I want to ask you this because, like we talked about giving action steps for people. So, with the context, we talked about this before the interview, but I mean, a lot of the people listening to this show have just kind of gotten stuck and they're deciding, hey, I need to scale this business. How do I scale it? So I want to ask you this. How would you scale a business using Instagram?
Okay, so what I would do is I would definitely, the biggest thing that we find working with six-figure owners, seven figures, sometimes eight figures as well, is the content's great, they are great, the product is great, but no one can hear of them. No one sees them enough. We need to blow you up even more. So getting more followers, getting higher engagement, right? Getting Instagram verification, getting you in the press, sort of PRing, promoting you up so that you can really like get more eyeballs to you, and then decide maybe that if you want to scale to sell, they're going to see that, and that's going to give you more cash flow, right? But it also like blow your brand up. If your brand is great, you should blow it up, right? You should get more people to notice you. So I think if you're in that position of like how do you scale through Instagram, get bigger online. So when people come to see it online on Instagram, they go, oh, wow. Like, wow. And we know this firsthand, right? If you go to someone's Instagram page and they got 5,000 followers, right? And let's say it's a pizza shop. Like this is a perfect example. When I came to America a long time ago, when I first came here, I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? And I wanted a slice of pizza. And I was walking down the road, left-hand side, there was a pizza shop, 5 people inside. Across the road, there was 150 people inside. Which one did I choose? 150. Was the pizza
Right.
better? No. Was the service better? No. Was the interior better? No. It just, there were more people, right? So I immediately chose that. I gave my business, I gave my attention, I gave my eyeballs to them. That's the same thing with your brand too. Now, hopefully the pizza was good, but that works with your brand. So if people come to your page and your content and your value is great, right? And the numbers are big, it's really going to help you, leverage your brand and business to however you want to do that, But if the numbers are small, if the engagement is small, people go, maybe they're not as big as I thought.
Right. And I would completely agree with that. I mean, it's really interesting because we've kind of evolved in the world. We don't even really care the quality of the product. We just know that if a lot of people are buying it or they're advocating for it, it's worth the time. We've seen that shift, especially in the the digital course space, right? If you don't have enough testimonials, if you don't have pages and pages of testimonials, people aren't going to buy it because they're like, well, let's just make sure it actually works first. Maybe I'll come back to you later. But they're going to go with a competitor with a mile-long page of testimonials. So for you guys, you know, you have an agency that does this for people. It builds the Instagram, their business through Instagram. So for you guys, what has been, I guess, kind of your core strategy or your methodology for helping people to grow that? Because I see a lot of people try to do it themselves as the entrepreneur, especially as coaches. They come in, they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to hop on Instagram 5 times a day and be doing posts or what have you. But I'm just kind of curious because I know for myself, I don't really want to do that in my own business, right? Is to be on there 5 times a day. So what's kind of your methodology on that?
So first thing we have to do, everybody, is allow yourself to understand organic isn't the greatest way anymore. It's pay to play, right? Facebook, Instagram, they want you to pay because they want to get your post to more people. The organic route of uploading content every day, doing 16 live streams, hashtags, responding back to comments, like, yes, that is powerful. Don't get me wrong. But you do need to like put some money behind getting that attention quicker, that influence quicker. And, you know, we help them get instant influence. So I always tell clients who come to me, I work with a lot of people, you know, a lot of coaches, a lot of people that are not first-time coaches, but, you know, they're either transitioning or they're starting fresh using Instagram. 3 pieces of content a week is plenty, right? 2 to 3. And to give people tangible stuff here too. And once again, because you're trying to be the expert, right? One thing, first step, you want to put up a photo of you and some kind of like story about your life, something you've learned in your life. That's called your personal brand. It doesn't need to be some skeletons from your closet. Like, doesn't have to be a dark time. You can if you want, but just talk about, show people that you're a real person. Second thing you want to post up, right, is you want to post up testimonials, clients, results. Hey, you know, it could be a screenshot. Oh my gosh, you know, Josh, the best podcast ever. You know, I've been on so many other podcasts, but this is so much fun. That is gold, right? A video testimonial, you know, I don't know, if depending on your industry and how you play it, like maybe an invoice of how much you made last year, you know, whatever your kind of master, like maybe you're doing lifestyle marketing. And then the third one is an expert opinion or an expert value tip, because you're supposed to be the expert, you know? So if you're a coach, if you're a business coach, let's just say just a general business coach, you could put up one thing you've learned about business as a personal photo. It could just be you at the beach, but you have a nice piece of caption, right? Nice caption. Next one you can have is a result from one of your clients. And the third one you can have is a tip that you've learned about being a business coach, that, you know, something that you don't like what you see, and this is what you feel, right? So I tell people to start off with that. Start with a little bit of content, right? And then the next thing I would do would be focus on, let's build your numbers, right? You need to grow your numbers. Now, there are a couple ways to do that. One, you can do hashtags, you can do organic posting and uploading at certain times. It's just going to be a slow way. You know, I'm a big story guy. It's like, imagine going to Disneyland, right? And you've got the general admission and the VIP fast lane. You know, the general admission is cheaper. It's going to take you longer, but you'll get there. Or hey, pay, you go straight to the front of the line, straight in front of the queue, get some little goodie bag. That's the same thing with Instagram. So like what we do is like, hey, you're doing all this work. Let's get your numbers up, because numbers means you must be someone important, right? As stupid as that sounds to everybody listening, I know, like I'm right here in LA, the heart of it, but it's the truth. You want to build up your engagement. So you want to have on all your pieces of content, right, all those real comments from real likes. Usually the way you would do it is you go to someone else's page, you comment on their stuff, and they hopefully comment on your stuff. Great. Josh, you don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. Guys, we're in our business. Like, we should be scaling. We should be, you know, building, working on the sales, like, you know, doing the things that are more important. But those sales things are important. So I have these engagement groups that I put people's of content in, and then you automatically get real engagement. And the third thing you want to do is, I always tell you, what we do is put people in the press. Because when you're in the press, it literally gives you that leading authority of like, wow, they are who they say they are. And while people know they can buy press, still a lot of people don't know that, you know? So that's the 3 strategies I do. I get people's followers up, get them engagement on their content, and then put them in the press to give them the first hit of, this is who I am, this is how we can help people, and this is, you know, why you should do business with us.
Right. Yeah. See, that's awesome. I hope everybody sat and took notes on that section because I love the methodology on it. The reality is that the organic methods do take a very long time. And we've even seen this is it's really not that expensive to just pay somebody to do it for you.
It's not.
Um, it saves you so
Yeah,
much time.
and this is and the one thing, Josh, what I like about the industry that I'm in now is that I know exactly how it feels. Like, and the thing is, like,
Right.
I'm not like, as much as I use the word influencer because it makes sense. Like, I don't really see myself as an influencer. Like, I see myself as a businessman, an entrepreneur. Like, I understand how you feel. I know what it feels like to be doing the content every day, doing the hashtags, trying to do the business, in the business, out of the business. Like, it's frustrating, right? And you put up a piece of content you're so proud about, and you wake up in the morning, you get 2 likes and 2 comments, and you're like, what's going on? Then you try all the other strategies too. Now I can go to a coach. I can go to someone like you, Josh, and say, hey, Lynn, man, listen, anything you post online now, you're good. You don't have to worry about time. You don't have to worry about hashtags. You don't have to worry about like the color scheme, the aesthetically look pleasing. All those things you used to do in the past, get rid of it. Work with me in the team, and you focus on what you do best, which is your message, which is telling people, hey, this is what I do, and this is why we're better than everybody else.
Yeah, and I love that because I mean we've even seen that a lot this year as a lot of the even just in 2020 it's changed so much because like you said a lot of the organic strategies used to work really well and that was really all they reward you for but now they're rewarding you to just
Yeah,
spend money
dude.
on their
And I
platforms
used to do
unfortunately.
like, even, Gary Vee would be big on this. So, do interviews with other people, and then you would get their list, right? And look, that does work a little bit. But also, guys, there's so many people doing podcasts, right? There's so many people like trying to do that strategy, even in the online creation influencer world. Now people go, I don't know if I want to do a cross collaboration with that girl, that guy, or you know what? Like, there's so many options now. The buffet of choice is incredible. It used to be like, Thai, Chinese, Mexican, American. Now you've got like every country in the world. That's the same point of like what's online now. Attention is the new currency. So like the organic strategy to get attention now, it's tedious, it's long, it's constantly changing, it's frustrating, you know, and it can bother you. And then people just start to give up. You know what? It's not for me. This Instagram thing isn't. I don't need to do this. You know.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people give up too soon because of that. Because there are people like the Gary Vaynerchuk's, right, where you go look at his stuff, and as a new entrepreneur, you're like, that is so much content. I mean, he's putting out so much content, and he has like I can't remember what it's called, like the 180 method, I think, something like that, where it's like 180 pieces of content a month or something, and I mean, something obscene where you're like, that would be all I would do all day, especially as a new entrepreneur or kind of budding entrepreneur in the digital space. So I want to ask you this though, JJ. So when it comes to the actual like growing of your following, who do you go to actually get that done and how do you get it done? I mean, are they going and spending ads, like money on ads to boost your content or how does that
Yeah.
work?
So first thing you need to do is go, "What's up, JJ? Let's speak." I'm the guy. So I'm at JJ Live at JAYJAYLIVE. You'll be able to see the good stuff there. But there are two ways to do this. One, you want to do it in the way we do it is we work with influencers around the world in specific industries. And what happens is, we can get you anywhere between 10 to 100,000 followers. They're all real people. They're not bots. And we put your name, they do a competition and say, hey, if you want to win this, go follow this person's account, right? So is it super targeted? No, but it gets your vanity numbers up, which are important, right? So then you get your numbers up. That's the first strategy. Then what we do is we do a targeted followers underneath that. So we get you, it's like we take you from I always say this, we take you from like the old part of LA and put you right in Beverly Hills, right? Like right scene in front of everybody. Now we want to make you look good, right? So now we do targeted followers. So we can go to specific industries, specific people and reach out to them. And then that starts to build like real organic growth from your, client avatar and customer database.
See, and that's really awesome because I really feel like, especially with these platforms like Instagram, that you're not even going to be able to use half of the features as a business unless you're past 10,000 or
Yeah.
100,000 followers,
Yeah.
right? Um, And so, I mean, that's the big hurdle for most people, is saying, oh, once I get past that point. So when you're doing these campaigns to get the more targeted followers, how are you doing that? Is it strictly content based, or is it, ad based?
Yeah,
How do
so
you
we
guys do
have,
that?
we have these large, there's a few different strategies. One of the strategies is we've created specific groups on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, of like just industry related content, like specific content pods. So we'll put like, it's like value driven pods. So there's one on leadership and entrepreneurship and business and fitness, and people constantly talking in there as well. So what we'll do is we'll drop like a little ad in there. So like, hey, if you guys love, if you guys want to be inspired by one of the best podcasts out for entrepreneurship, go check out this guy. And we'll put that post of you, Josh, on the group, and people go, oh, I like this guy. So in a way, it's advertisement. It's all advertisement, it's promotion. So we do it that strategy. We also go and follow other people that you might be in the same industry with. So for example, we might go follow all of Grant Cardone's followers and go out, and we call it not scraping, but we go out and look at, like, we're just sort of qualifying who are the people that are really good. Okay, this is a coach, or this is a person that's, used coaching services. Then we send them a DM, and we've got a team that does all this for our clients as well,
Yeah, because I hope everybody listening to this, not a single one of you will go out and try to do this by yourself. That kind of method, I mean, that's going to take you all day. That's something you can outsource for $3 an hour, right? So make sure you're not just taking this and saying, oh, I'm going to go do it myself. But I would highly recommend everybody go check that out. So they can also check you out at jjcorporate.com.
Yeah, that's my
correct?
speaker site, because speaking is still my first love, like inspiring people and talking to them about how do we get you to the next level, and that's where we're at, that's what we're doing today, Josh. Now, how do we get your business? How do we get you to the next level so you can, do whatever you want to do,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And so for you, JJ, I mean, we've covered a lot of different topics here, but if you're one of our listeners and, you were hoping for one rock solid takeaway from this interview, what do you think that would be?
I would say you need to start telling people online how you can help them. You need to start putting more content out. You need to start putting more messages out. You don't have to overly do it too much, but too many people want to sit in the work that's not important, and they should be spending time on things that aren't important. And that's, I always tell it, conversations, telling people who you are, what you do, putting out messages, like promoting who you are, and then selling,
Yeah, I love that. So make sure that you're throwing the hooks out there, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're talking about, is chum the water, like throw a bunch of hooks out there so people can see what you are, what you do, who you are, and leverage that attention. So JJ, I really appreciate you coming on today, man.
Yeah, no, thanks guys. Thanks. And once again, everybody, like, you're not here to do it all yourself in life. That's probably the biggest mistake I made for my whole, one of my big like no-nos, is like trying to take on all the weight on my shoulders and think I can do it myself. Like, allow people, like, get on these podcasts with Josh, like allow other people to help you, like, grow, right? And that takes money, that takes time, and that takes your ego out of it as well. You have to go, I don't know it all. Like, you know what? Let me get someone else to do it. So if there's anything I can do for anybody out there, at JJ Live, JAYJAYLIVE on Instagram, you'll see my work, you'll see my clients, you'll see how we do it. Don't be afraid to just go, hey Jay, let's call, let's have a chat, let's speak.
I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Lucky Titan podcast. If you want to fill your favorite platform with dream customers, then come join myself and thousands of others of hosts at theluckytitan.com/tribe. Here you can find guests for your show, get featured on other shows, and discover the secrets to building an audience of raving fans. So once again, go create your free account at theluckytitan.com/tribe.